Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to switch it up. We're going to do something a little bit different here on the channel. Today, I wanted to see what people's kind of like consensus of WWE is, because on Twitter a lot, make sure you follow me on Twitter, you know, socials will pop up somewhere. I see on Twitter a lot people just complain about WWE, and I'm not saying that as if they shouldn't. The product has been really bad lately, but I just wanted to see where people were at where WWE, were they complaining like more and had a different opinion. So anyways, I asked on Instagram, I said, guys, send me you know, where are you at with WWE right now? Do you like the product? Do you hate it? And yada, yada, yada. So I'm going to be reading off what some of these people had to say. I screenshotted some of the best ones, and I'll probably give my kind of opinion about WWE right now, or like after I read these comments. So anyways, the first one comes from Clifton, and he says, the only good thing on Raw is the Bray segment. Now it's time for him to wrestle. I agree. Well, I wouldn't say the only thing. There's like, and I'll talk about this later, but the thing with WWE, they have their moments of having really, really entertaining moments. Like sometimes with the 24/7 title, I'm loving what they're doing with that. Like the whole Drake Maverick thing, trying to, you know, win the championship every time. And, you know, him, like R-Truth losing the title to, you know, Jinder Mahal or whatever. Like I find that stuff kind of fun. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, honestly, the only good consistent things on Raw to me at the moment is Bray Wyatt and the 24/7 title. That's just kind of how I see things. So thank you for your opinion, Clifton. Next comes from my boy Malcolm, 7 Red Knights. He says, I record Raw and SmackDown Live and watch 205 Live, NXT, and NXT UK. Now, I wanted to talk about this one a lot because a lot of people complain. For example, I'm just gonna name call. I don't really care. For example, JD from NY, or, you know, whatever. I understand that is his job to review, you know, what happens, but there are so many other promotions out there. Watch something else, like Raw and SmackDown. Some people can clearly just wait until it's over, get the look online, see what happened, and then talk about it. Yada, yada, yada. You don't have to watch the product if you really do not want to, or if you really don't like it. So that's what I really like about what Malcolm says. He records SmackDown and Raw so that he can skim through it and, you know, skip through the parts he doesn't want to see or he knows he's not going to be interested in, and watches the good products that, you know, Triple H basically has control over, like 205 Live, NXT, and NXT UK, which all 3 brands are doing amazing right now. So I thought that was a really good opinion. So thank you, 7 Red Knights or Malcolm. I don't know why my computer keeps doing that. Anyways, that one Jose says, I don't watch it, but I do keep up with it. Now, I like this opinion, or I don't know if I should call it opinion. I guess just answer. But I like this answer because a lot of people are like, no, I don't watch it at all, and then they'll say that they don't even keep up with it. He's keeping it real. He's like, look, man, it's so bad, I don't watch it, but I will like go on YouTube or Twitter and catch up and all that. So I thought that was a pretty interesting one. Next comes from Malloy 21 and says, I mostly just watch the highlights, but I would say it's a 5 out of 10, hashtag making the switch to AEW. I wanted to talk about this one because even Dalton and I had a conversation about this answer. That's basically what a lot of people are doing anyway. It's just mostly watching the highlights. 5 out of 10, I feel like that's a fair rating because they still have entertaining stuff on the product. But hashtag making the switch to AEW. Do not get me wrong. AEW Double or Nothing is probably the best pay-per-view I have watched in a long, long time. Like that night when AEW came on, or like after it went off, Dalton and I made one video about wrestling, and then I went on to make like 3 more. It actually got me motivated to make wrestling content. But when people say, oh yeah, I'm switching to AEW, you don't have to switch. it's open. You can still watch WWE. You don't have to enjoy it, but I mean, like, if you still want to see what's happening, you can still watch it and like AEW more. You don't have to make a decision. That, I don't know. I always thought, like, making the switch is, it's really weird. Like, I know where you're coming from, and I don't think you meant it that way, but I know a lot of people on Twitter that do, and I'm like, you don't have to choose. You don't have to choose. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Afion, I think. I don't know. Honestly, I just want the main roster to be more like NXT, where wins and losses matter. This is the one I disagree with heavily, but I'll explain. He says, I just want the main roster to be more like NXT, where wins and losses matter. Wins and losses do not matter in NXT, period. Johnny Gargano, for example, he can lose 3 matches back-to-back on NXT, and they can slap him in a takeover match for the title, and nobody's going to care. For example, Tyler Breeze was on the main roster for how many years, lost so many matches, comes back in NXT, automatically gets a dream match, or not a dream match, but gets a match with Velveteen Dream for the North American title. Wins and losses do not matter. That was one I just wanted to talk about. I see what you're saying. Like, you want the main roster to be more like NXT, where wins and losses, you know, kind of depend on the story. I think that's what I'm hoping you got out of it, because wins and losses do not matter in NXT, but in a good way. But anyways, Trayvon 63 says, I don't even know. I just wish they could utilize their women's their women and tag divisions more. I thought that said women's tag division. Anyways, so their women and tag division more. I kind of both, actually. They're women's tag division and separate. But the women's division, I say, is doing all right now. They could do better, but honestly, it's just the wild card rule that's messing everything up. Because if you notice, the wild card rule, we're seeing the same faces. Like, we're seeing Drew McIntyre, Elias, Roman Reigns, and everybody on both shows. And there's nothing wrong with that, but at the same time, there is, because you're overexposing these people in these storylines when we could just be getting them on SmackDowns and Raws. But I'll talk more about the wild card rule later after I read more people's answers. So thank you, Trayvon, for your answer. Tonio says, I'm kind of at a breaking point with the same storylines, matches, and faces every single week. I feel that. I don't really have much to talk about, because he kind of, you know, that's kind of point blank right there. But I agree. Some of the matches that get, you know, just all the time, I don't mind. Like Cesaro versus Ricochet, give me that every single Monday. I do not care. But I see what you're saying, like Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns versus Elias, Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon. Like, it gets boring. It gets boring. So I feel that, Tonio. The one ugly kid named whatever the rest is, I can't see the rest. He says he's in the middle. They need to give a lot of wrestlers a push. This is the one I really, really, really wanted to talk about. Now, these are not my words. This is like a quote from Sean Spears or Ty Dillinger, whatever you want to call him. He did an interview with Chris, I forgot his last name. It's like Vin Valley, something like that. He did an interview, and he goes, he's like, I see a lot of people everywhere saying wrestlers need a push. They need a push. They need a push. Not everybody is gonna get a push. Not everybody is gonna get a United States Championship opportunity. What wrestlers need is credibility. They don't need a push. They need credibility. Credibility is more of like when you watch AEW Double or Nothing, everyone walked in to that battle royal. Even if you didn't know who they were walking out, you knew at least majority of them. Like me, for example, I'm not big on the indies. Like, you know, like I'm getting into it now, but I'm not familiar with everybody. Now I know most of the people going out of it, and then even going in, I was like, "Ooh, who's this Jungle Boy guy?" And now he blew my mind. So I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, wrestlers do not need a push. They just need credibility. If someone's losing 3 times a week on SmackDown and their entrance hits on the 4th week, and you already know what's about to happen based off their entrance alone, that is not good. That's not good credibility. For NXT, for example, it doesn't matter because wins and losses don't really matter. And for the main roster, it kind of does. If you lose like 3 to 4 matches back to back, you know what I'm saying. Sometimes that if it ain't for the story, you out of luck, Chief. But thank you for your comment. My boy Abdullah says he's indifferent. It's both angering and entertaining to me. That's also where I'm at. I'd say I'm a fairly positive guy. I like to look on the bright side of things, and WWE angers me sometimes because what they're doing right now is so bad. Like, it really is. Like, if I just have to be honest, it's really bad. But there are still things that entertain me that wants to make me keep watching. For example, Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler had a match for the Intercontinental Championship back in like 2009 or 2008, whenever it was. And that was the match that got me into wrestling, right? Like, hardcore got me into wrestling. I don't know why that match out of all the matches that I could have seen, but it was that one. And Kofi Kingston has been one of my favorites. Same with Dolph, but I'm more focused on Kofi. Kofi Kingston has been one of my favorite, wrestlers ever. And now that he has the WWE Championship, finally, after like 11, 12 years, I want to see his reign, but WWE is so bad right now. Like, there are things that entertain me. Like, I'm enjoying Kofi's reign so far. I like the New Day. I like the 24/7 title. I like Bray Wyatt's things. Like, there's things that entertain me, but it's like there's that 30 minutes of entertainment out of a whole 3-hour show, and that's not good. But I was ranting. Anyways, Futuristic Life says, I hate the creative team. Most of the stuff they are doing now is dumb. I love NXT though. Fair. I don't even think I need to go more in depth on that. That's just fair. Some of these I screenshotted just to get your opinions out, and some of these I actually genuinely wanted to talk about. Too Swaggy Deshaun says, the only reason why I watch Raw and SmackDown is because of the 24/7 title. That says a lot. I feel like that says a lot because for many reasons, the 24/7 title is ugly, and it is, but I almost like it because of how ugly it is, if that makes sense. I'm a weird dude, and also that wasn't WWE's idea. For those who don't know, like, I know a lot of people that probably watch my channel know about that, but for those who don't, the 24/7 title was USA's idea. It's mind-boggling to me. It's crazy that WWE didn't even come up with that. That was like USA saying, you know what, y'all need something to spice things up. Here you go. I mean, it was obviously WWE's idea to put it on Truth, which is a smart idea. But the fact that they weren't even going to do that is insane to me. Kid Handsome 64 says, honestly, WWE still has elements of being entertaining, which is why I still watch the product. I love the way you worded that. I don't even need to talk about it, and plus I've already been doing that, but I love the way you worded that. Thank you so much for your comment. Laced Up White Guy says, I'll always be a fan, but AEW Double or Nothing showed how much WWE needs to improve. That is so true. And I see a lot of people saying, yeah, when AEW, debuts, I'm switching for good. The reason I haven't said that myself yet is because we have not seen the first week of, TV. We haven't seen the weeks of what AEW can produce. I'm sure it's going to be dope, but I'm just saying, we're hyping things up off of one pay-per-view. And I'm not saying this to you, Lace Up White Guy. I'm just saying in general because it came to mind. But yeah, so once AEW starts getting things rolling and it's maybe a month down the line, then I'll probably start comparing WWE and AEW. But to be fair, AEW Double or Nothing did show how much WWE needs to improve. I think every match on that card slapped. I enjoyed every single thing that AEW did that night. But yeah, moving on. Mr. Real 21. I only have it on my TV to make noise while I'm talking to my friends. I relate to that so heavy because sometimes I'll turn it on. I'll be editing a video. I'll play WWE 2K19. I'll play Fortnite, Apex, whatever. It's just on in the background. I'm not even really watching it anymore. So I feel that heavy. Rakan says, wildcard rule sucks. They need a hard reset button. facts. I think they do need a reset button. They can't really do much about the brand split or like the wild card rule or whatever, because once Fox, you know, takes over SmackDown, or not Fox takes over, once WWE goes to Fox for SmackDown, then that's really why they started implementing this wild card rule, in my opinion, just so that they can get anybody on SmackDown if they want to. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. And this is the last one. Margaret goes, I follow on Twitter what's going on, but I haven't watched the regular shows in a while. And I think, honestly, that's a good point to wrap up. I think that shows how bad the WWE product is right now. Almost every single one of those that I screenshotted were negative. Like, not, you know, terribly negative, but you know what I'm saying? They weren't in a positive light. And I think that speaks volumes. Like, that's insane to me. I think WWE really needs to focus on continuity and credibility, because they're all over the place when it comes to continuity. Like, say for example, Zack Ryder gets a win. You know what? No, perfect example. Zack Ryder gets the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania, right? Everybody's believing in him. That pop was insane. I mean, it's a WrestleMania pop, but you get it. It was a big pop. People were excited. People were on Twitter going crazy about it. Literally the next night, loses it to The Miz. Don't get me wrong. The Miz's Intercontinental Champion was amazing, but I'm just saying, let Zack Ryder have a run for a little bit. You gave the man something, but it just fell flat. They do that all the time. Like with Goldust, for example. I could name so many examples. This is my last one. Goldust, for example, right? They were gonna give him a big push. They were like doing those vignettes backstage where he was talking about movies and stuff. It was actually kind of entertaining. Where'd it go? They drop the ball all the time. They're so bad with that. They also need to let their wrestlers have some type of creative control over their own characters. I get not having them have 100%. Well, not I get, but I can understand it to an extent. But I was gonna say for example, but you get what I'm saying. Let wrestlers give some type of input on their characters. Just come on, look at Bray Wyatt. The reason Bray Wyatt is doing so well is because he's the one doing it. Vince McMahon doesn't have control over the Firefly Funhouse. It's all Bray's idea. Now, once he gets to the ring, I don't know what'll happen, but all these vignettes you see is all Bray's idea. That's why it's doing so well. Let your wrestlers have creative control. That's all I'm saying. But I've ranted enough. I think I'm good. I guess I'll adjust the elephant in the room for those who know my setup. Yes, I did get a dresser. Yes, this is my laptop. Yes, there's a big TV. Yes, this is Mr. Penguin. Yes, there's white stuff right here. No, it is not what you think it is. This part kept coming up and I have Gorilla Glue and I thought it would stay, but it kind of turned white. So yeah, anyways, hope y'all enjoyed. I kind of wanted to just have a discussion type video with you guys, see you guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of WWE right now. What do you think of the current product? And yeah, make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on so you never miss an upload. And I'll see you guys in another video. Deuces.
Now I'm giving you all of me.